protection of Pompey Magnus and Julius Caesar. Senate sits tomorrow. Be aware. No disorder will be tolerated.
Pompey Magnus, I have a question concerning your friend and co-consul, Gaius Julius Caesar. Why does his chair remain empty? Why does he not come home?
Everything that Rome's been about, ever since it started for 400 years, has been about not having a tyranny, not having one person in charge.
He wants to destroy the Republic and rule Rome as a bloody tyrant. That's why.
As the drama starts, there are two men sort of vying with each other to be that king, to be the first man in Rome, Pompey and Caesar.
Caesar has been generous to the people because he loves the people as I do.
They start off as great friends and they share the responsibility of Rome together, but there was always this tendency for the Republic of Rome to be suddenly taken over by an emperor.
Caesar's term of office is over. He must immediately return for trial, else be considered an enemy of the Senate and people of Rome.
Our beloved Republic is in the hands of madmen. This is a dark day, and I stand at a fork in the road.
He was a severe threat to the established order. The aristocracy were very scared of him because he had these soldiers and he had the money and he had a great lust for power.
In the beginning of the series, I'm not in Rome at all because I'm out in Gaul, which is France as we know it, creating mayhem and havoc, acquiring a huge fortune.
Before you, Vercingetorix, king of all the Gauls. What would you have of him?
He was rather self-obsessed and driven beyond belief to be the greatest Roman ever.
Caesar! Caesar!
He seems to have this idea of himself as rather godlike, so that's what he's angling for.
Are you with me?
We're telling a story from the street level about ordinary citizens.
Why is Rome not defended?
Our boys scared him off, eh?
As the gods have abandoned Rome.
Our lead characters are two ordinary Roman soldiers.
Get back in formation, you drunken fool!
Who get caught up in the larger events of history.
They didn't like each other, really, but they out-braved each other on the battlefield. On certain occasions, they would each save the other one's life.
They are the only two ordinary soldiers that are mentioned in Caesar's account of the Gallic War.
You think we can trust him?
No.
Lucius Vorenus.
May his enemies flee from him. May their city walls crumble. This man is now Evocati.
He's an example of the dedicated soldier, and that's why Caesar chooses him as the man to have at his side, even though he knows that this guy does not share the same beliefs as him.
What makes your man Vorenus so morose?
Thinks we've committed a terrible crime. Shall be severely punished by the gods.
He may be right.
Vorenus has been away at war for about 8 years, and during that time I've been at home. And Vorenus comes back.
We want to try and explore that, you know, coming back into a house that is yours and to children that are yours and a wife that is yours.
Ivy?
What do you say to somebody who you haven't seen in 8 years and you supposedly love?
You're alive. How the hell do you react to that man when he comes back after 8 years? You don't know him. You don't know each other. His children don't know who he is.
Because this is your father.
How do you regain trust with each other?
I've been sullen and untrusting and cold, but I'm not made of stone. I can change.
Caesar needs you. We have hard fighting ahead.
I chose this path. I will follow where it leads.
But how are we to pay the rent? How are we to feed the children?
The sense of honour becomes questionable as the series unfolds, and I think that's the kind of tragedy of it.
Titus Pullo. He's a grunt. He's a soldier. He's a centurion. He's a fighter. He's a drinker. He's a womanizer. He's an all-round Roman.
I'll always have a job for you.
I'm a soldier, not a murderer.
Is there really any difference?
He meets trouble with trouble, or if you're pleasant with him, he'll go drinking with you.
I like to kill my enemy, take their gold, and enjoy their women.
Pullo, when was the last time you had a woman who wasn't crying or wanting payment?
Just a little bit larger than life.
I put Mark Antony up for election as People's Tribune.
I had understood the tribune to be a sacred and powerful office.
Tribune? What shall I tell Pompey?
Excuse me. I'd forgot you.
To Caesar, Mark Antony is the greatest warrior he ever saw, and that's something.
He's militarily incredibly bright, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's very tough in battle.
Rally to me. Rally to me.
What he admires Mark Antony for is his desire for life, and also he knows he can trust him within an inch of his life.
He's a very charming man. He uses his charm in an incredibly surgical, laser-like way to get exactly what he wants.
Oh, God, your beauty is painful. Let me die in your arms.
And he's brash and arrogant and sometimes, says things that he shouldn't say.
What shall be your punishment, Pompey? For betraying a friend? For allying yourself with these so-called noblemen? What punishment for you?
Impudent whelp!
He enjoyed convivial company. He enjoyed the ladies and the gentlemen and drinking and feasting.
He just lives life absolutely to the full, to the maximum.
It's sort of the case that women are marginalised in Roman history, but we know a fair bit about them.
If women are part of the families that run things, they do have influence. They are wives, mistresses, mothers, sisters.
I swear, if Caesar were here now, I would stab him in the neck.
She's part of the Julii family and is an extremely powerful part of the nobility.
What a congery of heroes. Such vim. I feel like Helen of Troy.
Attila personifies that strange, secret shadow role that women took in Roman society, in which weren't publicly powerful, but in the back rooms and in secret, they were extremely powerful.
Allied with my house, you'd have both coin and ability to make yourself king if you wished it so.
And you would be queen.
It's about how much they can use each other politically in order to gain status. And Attila is brilliant at that.
I think she should have been the emperor, basically, but unfortunately she was born a woman, so she channels all her energy and her power into her son, who's also pretty special.
You ride into Caesar's camp alone on a noble white stallion. Well, that's a gift he won't soon forget.
Alone?
You'll be perfectly safe.
She's quite sort of domineering and takes control most of the time and causes a lot of problems to her son, sending him off to places he doesn't want to be.
As luxurious as it was, there was no time for all this sentimentality.
Bring him back safe, or I'll use the eyes of your children for beads.
She loves him fiercely, and she will kill for him. She's a brilliant politician.
It is I who have lost faith. I want him dead. And that you shall have.
I'm in a marriage that has been an arranged marriage by my mother. My mother's very ambitious, really wants the best for her children, really driven. It comes across as really vicious, but her motive is totally the best for her kids. I'm basically a pawn in the whole thing.
You should be the first woman in Rome.
I often sort of question some of my characters' behaviour and treatment of her children.
Calm down, Mother, really.
Calm down, I've not even begun to get angry. But they had different sort of value system then. You still had to survive, and it was still a tough life. And so there was no time for all this mushiness.
Don't tell me what I will and will not do. Be quiet!
Our relationship is changing quite a lot. It's at that point where I've realised she's not the be-all and end-all. My mother doesn't know everything.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
My pleasure, Servilia. I insisted you come.
We're kind of enemies, basically. We're not good friends, and yet we both keep up this facade of a friendship.
It is a good cosmetic slave, I grant you, but a lover for Caesar.
Servilia came from a very important family, part of the family that founded the Republic. She's interesting because she's absolutely at the heart of things.
Servilia of the Junii, pleasant honor it is.
She was one of Caesar's lovers. How will you pay your debt?
All that I have is already yours.
But according to several accounts, the love of his life. Don't leave me again.
I never left you.
He had several wives. These were political marriages as much as anything. But his real soul and his heart, if he had one, belonged to Servilia.
Is passionate, really deeply passionate. She's also the mother of Brutus.
Caesar was like a father figure to him.
Tell you, Brutus, I'm at my wit's end.
Arguably a story of betrayal of a son to a father.
It's tragic what happens. What happens next is brutal.
This month's public bread is provided by the Caroline Brotherhood of Millers. The Brotherhood uses only the finest flour, true Roman bread for true Romans.